Hello everyone, welcome to my class. This is the second video in this series of writing assembly language program for x86 processor. Hope you have watched my previous video to understand few of the basic instructions discussed and their use to write a simple program. In this video, we will discuss few arithmetic instructions like add and subtract and their variants, and we'll take up few examples and write a assembly language program for x86 processor. As we have already discussed the types of instruction, I'll just quickly go through that. The types of instructions, when we talk, we have data transfer instructions, arithmetic instructions, logical instructions, and your branch and program control instructions. So today we are going to talk about arithmetic instructions. Under this, first thing we are going to take is add instruction. Add instruction, the format for writing the add instruction is add destination, source. So what this particular instruction does is it adds the content of your source to that of the destination and stores the result in destination. So what are the possible formats of writing this? Your source could be a immediate data, could be a register, or could be a memory location. Now, as memory location is involved, we can write this memory location in multiple ways, which I have discussed in my previous video of addressing modes. Hope you have gone through. Then you can understand almost 24 different types of memory addressing modes are possible. Similarly, your destination could be a register, a memory location, again specified by different possible methods. But your destination cannot be a immediate data. Both source and destination in the instruction cannot be a memory location. That means we cannot add two data present at memory location M1 to that of the memory location M2. In that case, we have to take a temporary register to perform so. So like move instruction, add instruction also cannot be applied to add data present in two memory locations directly. Then source and destination must be of same size. This is very important. I can add 8-bit of data with another 8-bit of data, or 16-bit of data with another 16-bit of data, or 32-bit of data with another 32-bit of data. So the size of your source and destination must be same. As this is one of the arithmetic instruction, we are going to use arithmetic and logical unit in the processor. ALU will be used. So the result, based on the result, our flags will get affected. So add instruction affects all the flags. So to understand this add instruction, let us take a simple example what this add instruction does. So first I'm writing move AL, 23H. So what this particular instruction will do, it will copy this immediate data 23H onto AL register. Yes. Then I'm writing move BL, AF. What this particular instruction will do, it will copy the data AF onto BL register. And then I'm writing add AL, BL. So it will add the content of BL register to that of the AL register, and the result will be stored in AL register. So after execution of this instruction, the content of AL will be your 23H plus AF. So we are basically performing hexadecimal addition, and my result will be stored in the destination. Add destination, source. So BL is source here, AL is destination. So the sum, which is D2 in hexadecimal, will be stored in AL register. So I have written this result in binary just to understand what this result mean to us. Now, as we are looking into this addition, the addition can be performed or the result can be interpreted in two different ways. The first is either I can consider the operation, this arithmetic operation is done under unsigned format, or the addition, arithmetic addition is done under signed number format. That means either I'm going for unsigned addition, arithmetic addition, or I'm going for signed arithmetic addition. So if at all I'm considering this to be unsigned, then my answer will be, if I convert it into decimal, it will be 202 in decimal. But if I consider this to be a signed operation, then how we are going to look into this result? As the MSB bit is high, we will know that MSB bit is high, so the number is negative or the result is negative. And all our processor uses two's complement method. So to know the answer or to know the result, we will take the two's complement of this particular number, which will generate minus 46 in decimal. So this D2H or 11010010 can be interpreted as either 202D if you are saying that you are in unsigned arithmetic operation, the numbers are unsigned, or it will be equal to minus 46D if you are considering the numbers to be in signed arithmetic operation. Now, based on the result, we are going to look into how the flags get affected. So, what will be the condition in this case? If I am looking into carry flag, is there any end carry generated? Addition of these two 8-bit numbers 23H plus AFH has not generated a end carry. Yes, so my carry flag will be 0. Next, we'll look into parity flag. The parity flag in this case will be high if the number is in even parity condition and low if the number is in odd parity condition. So we will see how many ones are there in this result. We have 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 ones are there in my result. So it is in even parity condition. So my parity flag or parity bit will be high. Next, the flag which we are going to look into is your auxiliary carry flag or auxiliary flag. So auxiliary carry is basically generated if while adding the lower nibble, that is when we have added 3 with the F, if it generates a carry for the higher nibble, then auxiliary carry flag will be set. So we can see that when we added 3 with F, we have generated a carry for the next higher significant digit. So auxiliary carry flag will be high in this case. The next flag is your 0 flag. As the result is not 0, 0 flag will be 0. If the result is 0, your 0 flag will be high or it will be set. Now coming to the sign flag. If we have done sign flag means you are looking into the number in signed arithmetic condition or signed arithmetic number system. So here your sign flag will be high as my MSB bit is high. So that we conclude that the number is negative. Now overflow flag. Addition of two positive number. Here I have added 23H with AFH. Addition of two positive number cannot be negative. Yes, as my sign bit or the MSB bit is high, it says that the 2's complement overflow has taken place. So my overflow flag will be high in this case. Hope all these flag, how they get affected is clear to all of you. The next instruction, which is a variant of add instruction we will look into, is add with carry, ADC. The format of this instruction is same as that of the add, ADC destination comma source. So what this ADC does, add with carry, it, as the name says, It adds the content of your source with destination along with the carry flag. So whatever you have in your carry flag will be added to the content of your source and destination, and the result will be stored in destination. So here also we can have your destination source could be a immediate data or could be at register or different memory locations, or and destination must be a register or a memory location. So we'll take up one example to understand this, how add with carry works. Now here, to store the end round carry generated, I'm using a register AH, and I have made initially the value of AH as 0. Next, I am loading a data 89 which is available as a variable name num1 to AL register. Move AL comma num1. It will load the data present in the variable name num1 to AL register. Then I am adding num2 with AL. Add AL comma num2. So it will add the content of num AL with that of the variable name num2. So let us assume num1 have a data 89. Num2 is initialized or declared as a data 7ch. Yes. So when we write add AL comma num2, it adds 89h with 7ch, and the result will be stored in AL register. So while adding these two, is there any carry generated, end round carry generated? So when we add these two numbers, the result will be 9 plus C will be your 15 in hexadecimal. So I'm writing 5 here and carry as 1. So next, we are adding 8 plus 7 plus 1. So it will be 16, which is 10 in hexadecimal. So my result is 105 in hexadecimal. Yes. Now, when we are doing this, when I added 9 with C, a auxiliary carry will be high, a carry is generated. Now here in the second place, when I am adding, I need to add 8 plus 1 plus C. Yes. And it generates a result 105. I know that AL register is a 8-bit register, so it can store only 05 in it. The last end carry generated will not be stored in AL register. So how I am going to add this or store this result 1 in the MSB position? So we will use the instruction add with carry AH, 0. What this instruction will do? Now, when we performed add AL, num2, the AL register contains, the content of the AL register will be 05H. And as it has generated a end carry, my carry flag will be set, or carry flag value will be set to 1. Yes. So next what I am doing, I am writing add with carry AH, 0. So what it will do? It will add the content of AH with 0 and carry flag. I have already initialized AH to be 0. So actually I am writing here 0 plus 0 plus the content of carry flag. That will be stored in AH register. That means basically I am adding 0 plus 0 plus 1, which is generated by the previous addition. When I have added num1 and num2, and my result cannot be stored in 8-bit of data, I need another space or another 4-bit or 8-bit to store. That we are storing in AH register. And that is being done with the help of add with carry. To understand this add with carry, I will take another example where we are performing addition of two multi-byte numbers. Yes, like in this example, I have considered two 4-byte numbers are stored in a memory location 40,000 and 44,000. Now we have to add these two 4-byte numbers and store the result in memory location 44,000. Yes. So first we will take up the example. As I have to add two 4-byte data, I will take first two 4-byte data. So my data is 8834761B, need to be added with 91F739A1. Yes. So first we will see how we are going to store this data in my memory. As the first data is at 40,000, in the memory location 40,000, we will have the LSB byte of data stored. This is because we are using little endian format of storing. So all our 86 processors are in little endian format. So they will store LSB byte of data first, followed by MSB bytes. Yes, or higher significant bytes. So here my 1B will be stored at a memory location 40,000. Then at the next memory location 40,001, my next higher significant byte of data, which is 76, will be stored. At memory location 40,002, data stored will be 34, and at 40,003, the data stored will be 88. Similarly, the next byte of data, the second data, is stored at a memory location 44,000. And my second byte of data, LSB data, is A1. So at 44,000, data stored will be A1. At 44,001, data stored will be 39, F7, and 91. Next, what we have to do? We have to add the content of 40,000 with the content of 44,000, add them and store the result back into the 44,000, that particular memory location. So I'm going to use this 44,000 as my destination. This address should be used as my destination. So 40,000 will be used as your source. Yes. So here I have shown the result of performing the addition. So when I am adding these two numbers, so always we'll start addition from the LSB byte. B plus 1 is C, A plus 1 is B. So when I'm adding first byte of LSB byte of data, my result will be B, C, and it will be stored in memory location 44,000. Then I have to increase my pointer and go to the next memory location, which will have, for the number 1, for data 1, it will have 76 in it. For number 2, it will have 39H in it, and we will perform our addition. The addition result will be 9 plus 6 will be F, 7 plus 3 will be A, and it will be stored at a memory location. Result will be AF. Then again, we will increase our pointer, go to the next memory locations 40,002 and 44,002. 34 and F7 will be added now. And you can see that when I'm adding 7 plus 4 as B, F plus 3 as 1, 2 in hexadecimal, a end round carry is being generated, which need to be taken to the next higher byte. Yes, for next addition. After this, when I am performing addition, I should add the data from memory location 40,003, 44,003, and previous carry, if any. So in this case, we have a previous carry. So 8 plus 1 plus 1 will be your A, and 8 plus 9. Again, it is generating, my result will be 1, 0. My result will be 1, 0. That means my register, as it is a 8-bit register, will be capable of storing 0A in it with a end carry generated A. 0, 1. So this 0, 1 should be stored. So here we have stored 2B, 0A, and 0, 1 should be stored in the next memory location. So 44,004, this particular memory location will be used to store the end carry generated. So here, as it may happen when I'm adding 2 bytes of data, I may have generated a carry. So addition should be done with the help of add with carry instruction. So I'll go to the programming part of this particular example. So first of all, I have initialized your segment register. As the addresses are 40,000 and 44,000, I have taken my DS value as 4,000. So move AX comma 4000 and move DS comma AX basically we are using for initializing the segment register, data segment register. Then my source index will be, as I have to generate a physical address of 40,000, SI I will take as 0000 and a destination address of 44,000. So DI will be taken as 4,000. Next, I have to perform this addition as I have shown in the previous slide, byte by byte. And how many times I have to repeat it? I have to repeat it 4 times as the numbers are 4-byte data. So I have taken a counter with a value 04. And I'm using a BL register here to store the end carry generated, if any. Like in this example, we are generating at the last stage. If you remember, at the last stage, we have generated 10A. So my A register or memory location, as it is capable of storing 8-bit of data, it will store 0A, but it will not store the end carry generated 1. So to store this, I need an extra memory location. Yes. So that we are storing first into your BL register. From BL register to the memory location we will transfer. So if any end carry is generated, will be stored in BL register. In this particular program, we are going to see instruction which is CLC, clear carry flag. Why I am going to use this clear carry flag? Because whenever you are using instruction add with carry, the content of the carry will be added. So if initially I have not cleared my carry flag, my result may be erroneous. So to keep my result or addition error free, before using add with carry, first I have to clear the carry flag. So first we will clear the carry flag. Then I will go for adding the first byte of data of number 1 or num1 with the first byte of data of num2 or second array and use add with carry instruction to perform the addition and store the result in the destination memory location. Yes. So here we have initialized our pointers, initialized counter and taken a register which is cleared to store the end carry. So for now I am writing move AL comma within square bracket SI. So it will point to the memory location 40,000 and take that data and load it or move it onto AL register. Next, I am writing add with carry within square bracket DI comma AL. So the content of AL will be added to the content present at a memory location 44,000 and the result will be stored in 44,000. So as we have done add with carry, if any carry generated previously will be taken care. So first byte of data addition is complete. Now I have to go for second byte of data to be added. So for that I will first increase SI, increase DI, and as we have completed one byte of data addition, I will reduce my counter, decrease CL by 1. So I am left with 3 more bytes of data to be added. So this particular decrease instruction is now going to affect my 0 flag. Once that 0 flag is being affected, that means after execution of the decrease instruction, my program is going to branch because I have used a jump equation. Jump if not equal to 0 to x1. X1 I have labeled to the first instruction where I am starting to copy the data. Move L comma SI. So this particular instruction will take the program control to this particular memory location back to move and execute the loop again. So decrease CL, as we have completed only one addition, 1 byte of data addition, CL will be decremented from 04 to 03. As the result is not 0, jump if not 0 will be satisfied. And the program will branch to the label name X1. Yes. And again, we will go to, as we have already incremented SI and DI, SI might have gone to 0001. DI has now gone to 4001. We will take those data, add with carry, and again increase SI to 0002, DI to 4002, and decrease CL. Now CL becomes 2. Still it is not 0, not equal to 0. So jump if not 0 will be satisfied, and again we will branch back to X1 and it will continue. So after adding all the 4 bytes of data, now CL becomes equals to 0. As CL, the content of CL is 0, the result will be 0 and 0 flag will be set. So 0 flag is high now. So jump if not equal to 0 will not be satisfied. So it will not go back to the loop. Rather, it will go to come out of the loop and it will go to the next instruction. Now, next instruction we are writing is jump if not carry. If carry is generated, now here, if carry is generated, then we will go for the next instruction. It will not satisfy this condition. If carry is not generated, we will branch to X2. Yes. Now, where is that carry flag? How it or when it got affected? First, when we have written add with carry, this as you know that add or ADC will affect all the flags. So my carry flag must also have gone affected. If my result generates, in this case, my last byte of 4th byte of data addition has generated a end carry. So my carry flag will be high, will be set. So after that, also you are doing increment and decrement instruction. These are also arithmetic instructions and they are using your ALU, but they do not affect your carry flag. They will affect your 0 flag, but they are not going to affect the carry flag. So this carry flag, whatever is the value, is because of the ADC instruction. So if during add with carry, a last end carry is generated, will be there in the carry flag status. And that we can store into increase. If that is the condition, then we will increase the BL register. If carry flag value is high, we will increase the BL value. If not, then we will go to next instruction, which is move BL comma DI. So BL will remain 0 and it will be in the next higher memory location in the previous program. Here it will be stored as 00 if the carry is not generated. If carry is generated, BL will be incremented to, BL will be incremented by 1 because you are writing increase BL, and then that value 01 will be stored in DI. Hope this example is clear to all of you and you find it interesting. Thank you for watching my video.